been teaching didgeridoo for maybe, I'm thinking 10 years, something like that. And I mainly teach it for people who have sleep apnea, asthma, breathing issues of all sorts. So I don't really teach performance, so I do teach circular breathing because that's part of the healing aspect of it. So with sleep apnea, the only study that's been done showed that you really have to do the circular breathing to satisfy the scientific result of it really helping sleep apnea. But I've found that it does help sleep apnea even prior to circular breathing. So it can help it right away. It can actually help you if you're on a CPAP machine and you hate the CPAP machine, it can help you adjust to that because it starts opening your throat and helping. And that helps when you're actually on the machine. So, and I don't recommend anybody get off the machine until they're really circular breathing for a while and they've exercised it and they take the test. It's really simple. You take the sleep test again and you find out, have you got it or don't you have it? It's very objective. Not even touchy-feely. It's really, there are numbers there. But I've also found in my practice of teaching that there's so many people who have breathing issues in general. Just, we do not breathe well in this culture. And we, instead of breathing from our diaphragms, 80% of the breath from the diaphragm and 20% from here, most people are in the opposite relationship. It's 80% upper respiratory and 20% diaphragm. And that's fight or flight mode, basically. That is the sympathetic nervous system, constantly the anxiety, the shortness of breath, the not letting the breath really come in all the way. Yeah.
Can you tell me the difference between what they call diaphragmatic breathing for singing and belly breathing for yoga? I know it's lower
for
than
yoga,
upper, but what's the difference between the diaphragm and the belly breathing?
Well,
or is it the same?
It's pretty much the same, although what you'll find out when you really get into breathing is that the act of inhaling is actually a relaxation. It's not, you actually let these muscles relax and the air comes in because the diaphragm will drop. And so it actually, it feels like it's completely all the way to the pelvic floor. You're relaxing and letting that breath go.
So you don't keep your belly tight and then hope to...
Right.
Okay.
So a big problem with especially women in this culture is that we can't breathe correctly because we're so worried about our stomachs going out that we don't get a good breath. So that's a huge piece of the teaching with didgeridoo because frankly, didgeridoo exercises the diaphragm more than any other instrument I have ever encountered. And there may be others, but I play flute, it's the silver flute, and I thought I was using my diaphragm, but it's at least 3 times that. The control and the strength of the diaphragm for circular breathing. You're breathing frequently and you're breathing only from here. So it's not like your lungs aren't filling up, they are, but you're not doing any volitional like that. Where with a lot of wind instruments, we're breathing through the mouth and we're taking in these huge breaths and it's actually stressing the upper respiratory. So with didgeridoo, that stressing works against circular breathing. If you're doing that, any kind of action here, circular breathing won't happen. It'll like run away from you. So a lot of the things that I work with is getting to the point where you are really in touch with that diaphragm and you're in control of it. So you can take those little breaths, which circular breathing is it's that much. So you see, it's there, but nowhere else. And that's where Andre Schmeekel is. You'll see he does not stress anywhere else when he's breathing. He's just like, so I call it sound breathing, actually, sound breathing. The kind of the correct way to breathe. And once you start really working with that diaphragm and it gets into your control, you are breathing like that. I've seen so many people who it becomes their default. Just breathing from the diaphragm.